What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand. And Daniel, your boy, Corey Seager. We've got some movement in the rumor mill when it comes to Corey Seager. The latest updates are this from Joel Sherman of the New York, out in New York, says the Yankees are not pursuing any of the top-end shortstops. There have been links connecting them maybe to Marcus Semien, but Corey Seager and Carlos Correa, it appears, are not on their radar. Ken Rosenthal adds a nugget in his latest piece that Corey Seager may be a guy who is itching to get paid and signed before the December 2nd deadline. And then just this morning on Wednesday, Andrew Friedman was interviewed and said, quote, "We'll be aggressive to try and retain Corey Seager. We have a lot of really other talented players as well, He's a great player. He's going to get a great contract, rightfully so, and time will tell how it kind of plays out." Again, there have been reports that the Dodgers are aggressive on Seager, that he also is the only top-end shortstop that they're pursuing. So all this is out there that Seager might want to sign in the next week or so, I guess. We're getting close to that December 2nd deadline. So all that to say, what do you make of this and Corey Seager and the Dodgers?
Well, I'd say the first thing is what you just mentioned, that I think it's pretty clear he's looking to sign as quick as possible here. Like, there's some guys who are okay going into January, February, or whatever, staying unsigned. But from everything we've heard, it seems like, Seager's trying to get this done quick. So who knows? We might have a resolution here within the next week, which I think would be cool just because I'm an impatient person. And I hate when these things go like all the way to spring training. Yeah. Like, come on, like, let's just do it. So I think it makes sense that he wants to get signed early. I think.
Well, let me jump in real quick. If he signs early, is that good news or bad news for the Dodgers, or doesn't matter? No impact.
I mean, I don't think it really matters. Like, he's like I was just saying, like, he's getting paid regardless. It's just a matter of how much and how many years. So I don't think it matters, but I will say that what we've been hearing about the Yankees, I definitely think that's good for the Dodgers. Like, if the Yankees, like, around the league, the Yankees and the Dodgers are looked at as like the two financial behemoths. Like, anytime a team is like going after a free agent and they see the Dodgers or Yankees are interested, like, that's not a good sign. Like, even if they're not actually trying to sign them, like, those teams just get thrown out to drive up the price, right? So the fact that we're hearing that the Yankees aren't super interested, I think that bodes well for the Dodgers, because at this point, like, who are you even bidding against? Like, we haven't really heard a lot of other teams outside of the Yankees that are interested in Seager. Like, I feel like we've always been under the impression, like, hey, Seager is going to New York. They need a shortstop. They need a left-handed bat. They got all the money in the world. It just makes perfect sense. But if they're not interested, like, who else is? And if not many teams are, maybe the Dodgers get him at a little bit of a discount. Like, obviously he's still going to make a lot, but maybe not as much as some people originally thought.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating, because we talked at the beginning, like, if the Dodgers were interested in signing a shortstop, that it feels like there are more shortstops looking for high dollar numbers than there are actual teams that have those dollars to pay it. And so even if you knew the Dodgers and the Yankees were two teams, well, it was between Correa and Seager, and the Astros might be involved. And then you've got Semien and Baez and Trevor Story. Like, there's all these guys. And so it always felt like, yeah, it's great these guys want this dollar number, but would a team really say, yeah, we're going to give Corey Seager $32, $35 million a year for 10 years when Trevor Story, we know, is going to sign for 4 less years and $10 million less per year? That would be an interesting dilemma. But here's my perspective. Here's why I actually think it is good news for the Dodgers that Corey Seager wants to sign early. The reason is the Dodgers have one shortstop they're interested in, and it's Corey Seager. A lot of other teams might be doing exactly what I just talked about, which is, hey, let's just sit back, let Seager sign, maybe let Correa sign, and then let's get the value. Well, the Dodgers obviously are interested in value, but they're interested solely in Corey Seager. And so if Corey Seager wants to sign early, there might be other teams that 5 months from now could circle back to Corey Seager once Trevor Story and Marcus Semien and Carlos Correa have all signed and say, okay, you're the last guy left, now we'll negotiate. But those teams might not be interested now because they're waiting for Seager to set the market. Whereas the Dodgers, who have confidence in themselves, who believe in their own analytics and their own numbers, can go to Corey Seager and say, here's the dollar number we're comfortable with. Here's the years we're comfortable with. And we're willing to sign it to you right now. We're willing to offer you this, a real contract today, which I think is an advantage over teams that might not have zeroed in on one specific guy, but might have more margin for, hey, well, if it's not Seager, then it's Correa. If it's not Correa, it's Semien. If it's not Semien, it's Story. Right. Whereas the Dodgers are Seager or bust. You want to sign, here's the deal. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's totally a fair point. And I also think another point, and something we've kind of been talking about all off season, is which way the Dodgers, like, which direction they go kind of depends on Corey Seager. Like, if you're paying Corey Seager $300 million or whatever close to that, then you're probably not making a lot of these other moves. Like then Chris Taylor's gone, but Max Scherzer's probably not back, etc. So if you at least have a resolution on Corey Seager one way or the other this early in the offseason, then at least you know like which direction you could go next, as opposed to having to wait around for him until February and then you miss out on some other guys or whatever the case may be. Then you're looking for scraps right before the start of spring training. So I definitely think it's a good thing for the Dodgers that he's looking to sign early, even though that might mean like he's signing with someone else early. Like I think that would be better than him waiting till February.
Yeah, it's a great point that it gives the Dodgers a roadmap that things shut down December 2nd, and either Corey Seager is a Dodger, and we know what how the dominoes fall from there. Okay, Chris Taylor, etc., Max Scherzer, or the flip side. Okay, Corey Seager signed with the Yankees. We're not interested in any of the top end shortstops. Now we can build a plan. Like who knows? Chris Taylor might be signed within 24 hours of Corey Seager if Corey Seager were to sign somewhere else. But I agree with you. The more clarity, like if Corey Seager, it appears, is sort of the top of the list, the priority list. And that might be because he's most interested in signing early, but it appears he will be the first domino to fall. And if one domino falls before December, then it gives the Dodgers time to not have to react. Whereas if you get to the end and Scherzer and Seager are the last two free agents signing, then you're in a bad spot if you're the Dodgers, because Chris Taylor probably no longer a backup option at that point. Some of the starting pitchers we mentioned in our last show, probably not a backup to Max Scherzer at that point either. And so it's interesting, but I do agree with you. I think, like I said, I think it's good for the Dodgers that Seager wants to sign early. And I also think it's good for the Dodgers, even if he were to sign early somewhere else, it gives them sort of the runway to go. So let me close it out with this. You and I think, have been pretty much aligned. I think I said 50-50, Corey Seager signing with the Dodgers. The other 50% would be Chris Taylor coming back. I'm going to be honest. I am more confident in Corey Seager returning to the Dodgers with some of the rumors we are hearing today. Knowing the Yankees are not interested, knowing that Andrew Friedman, I choose to believe him when he says we are being aggressive in going after Corey Seager. I had some honest concerns of like, look, we know the approach isn't the offensive approach that the Dodgers love, that they train everybody with. So is it possible, blah, blah, blah. Well, they like the approach to some degree. They like the left-handed bat, etc. So I am more confident today. Maybe I'll go 60-40 that Corey Seager's back with the Dodgers. Has your perspective changed at all on that front?
Yeah, I'd say my optimism has definitely grown. Like I went into the offseason very pessimistic. We've talked about it at length. There's just so many factors at play here that like the Dodgers have so many other guys to pay. They have a replacement shortstop already in place. We thought the Yankees were ready to throw a huge bag at Corey Seager. It just seemed like all signs were pointing towards him leaving. But from the reports we've seen in the last couple of days now, it's kind of the opposite. Like all signs are starting to point, starting to point to him coming back. And I still don't know if that'll happen. I'd say I'm probably 50-50 right now, which is up from maybe the 25% I was at the start of the offseason. But I just like, if it's not the Yankees, then who is it, right? Like we've seen like the Rangers are interested in him. We've seen some bad teams, but like in reality, like why would he want to go play for the Rangers for the next decade?
Billy McKinney is there. Keep that in mind that Billy McKinney is in Texas.
Not only Billy McKinney, but DJ Peters.
Yeah, Zach Rex. They got the they got the cast-off outfielders out there.
Dennis Santana, Josh Swartz.
Dodgers AAA teams playing out in Arlington.
But like I get that he wants a lot of money and he's gonna get a lot of money regardless. But if your options are like, $3 extra million a year to go play for the Rangers or $3 million less a year to play for the Dodgers, to me that's a no-brainer.
It's easy for you to spend $30 million of Corey Seager's money and say $30 million less to come play for the Dodgers. But that's always a fascinating piece of free agency in my mind, is you get a sense of the guys who genuinely care about winning. And I don't even mean that negatively. Like if a guy were to take an extra $30 million to go play for a crappy team, I am not going to judge him at all. Now, if you're re-signing with a crappy team you've grown up with, it's different. But yeah, to your point, if Corey Seager just takes the biggest dollar amount to go play for a crappy team, more power to him, fine. But it does feel like once you've tasted what he has tasted with the Dodgers, that might be appealing to the point of like, let's stick around and 300. The difference between 300 million and 320 million. Who cares? Yeah. Just a couple zeros at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I will say though, like since we're talking about Texas, the tax implications, it would actually be a lot more than that.
Yeah, fair.
So I guess that could be at play. But I just from the comments we heard from Corey Seager, like right when the season ended, about how badly he wanted to come back. to me, I think he's one of those guys who does care about winning. So I don't know that for a fact. I think everyone cares about winning, but some people care about money more, which, as you said, like completely understandable. But to me, Corey Seager is a guy who I could see taking a little less to come back to the Dodgers if the other option is a bad team like the Rangers.
Fair. Well, let us know what you think below. Obviously, again, these are just rumors. We're reacting to reports. So make sure you subscribe here to our channel. Ring the notification bell, because when a decision is made by Corey Seager, one way or the other, we're going to have it here for you first. So you want that notification bell rung so that you can see it here. That's Daniel Starkand. My name's Jeff Spiegel. We appreciate you watching. This is Dodger Heads presented by DodgerBlue.com. We'll see you soon.